All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Zandvoort. Wessel Stevens at his home track on the pole next to Avery Walker. Also, Joop's home track as well next to Andrew Lau in the second row. Adam Barker, Harry Volsmeer on the third row. Robert Joe and David Garman have the fourth row, and Roman Berg and Mike Marshall round out the field here this morning. Drivers stacking up out on the track. As always, if you have a favorite driver in the field, don't forget to drop in the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for this morning. And while we're halfway through this season, NSS is always recruiting. If you're interested in getting in with a good group of GT3 drivers that will not only race you clean, but help you get better, this is the group to be in. Looks like just about everybody is stacked up. Pace car should be rolling any second now. And here we go, Avery Walker and Wessel Stevens on the front row. Everybody stacked back up as they come into that final turn. This turn and the straightaway that follows, we'll see a lot of action here today. And there goes the pace car diving to pit road. Everybody fires. Green flag is in the air. They are underway at Circuit Zandvoort. And briefly 3 wide as they came off into turn 1. Avery holds on to second. Joop still in third. Harry Volsmeer already on the move. He is moving up. He just took 5th. A lot of elevation changes at this track. As we mentioned in pre-race, a lot of the drivers were struggling here this morning. This is definitely not a favorite track for the drivers. But they are out there getting the most out of it right now as Wessel Stevens out front. Avery Walker still holds on to second. Joop in third. Lau in fourth. Harry into 5th. Heading down into that banked final turn. Oh, Wessel gets a little bit of the dirt as they come up to speed. That banking allows the driver to get on the power hard very quickly. They get a big run down the front straightaway. David Garman has had a problem back behind. Garmin headed off into turn 1. Looks like he just did not get it woed up enough. Goes through the grass into the dirt. Quickly recovers, but drops all the way to 10th. Wessel's still out front, but hasn't been able to break away quite yet. Adam Barker is back in the Audi this morning. Hello Kitty on board to give him a hand. Avery Walker still holding on to second. Now the top 5 are all Porsche. Harry trying to pull back up on the lead group. Wessel Stevens having just set the fastest lap so far, and Garmy has gone to pit road. Likely a tire change. He did not take any damage in that incident. Wessel may have set the fastest lap, but oh no, the leader is sideways off the track. He gets it recovered, but Wessel went from 1st to 6th in the blink of an eye. Looking down from the blimp, just gets a little wide onto the power a little soon. Sits there pointed at the track and sees everybody go back by. Avery Walker now in the lead, closely followed by Yope and Andrew Lau. Wessel now back in 6th, closing in back up to Adam Barker in 5th. Harry Volsmere now sliding up into 4th, trying to close back down on Andrew Lau in 3rd. We saw Lau in this paint scheme last week. It is a really good looking paint for the Conliff Esports team. Looking forward to seeing that in some more endurance races this season. Yope in 2nd, staying right on Avery Walker's back bumper. With all the elevation changes around this track, some of these corners, you almost come over the top and are blind as you head back down the hill. Does make for some tricky spots on track for the drivers. As we said, a lot of them not fans of this track, as Yope went a little bit wide. Did notice in practice, Yope was taking some different lines than some of the other drivers, but he had a ton of speed out there. It'll be interesting to see if those different lines pay off. Andrew Lau currently in third. Harry Volsmere in fourth. Adam Barker in fifth. Wessel has had another problem. There's Wessel trying to make his way back toward the front. Same thing as before, a little too deep into the turn. The back end just steps out, and he drops even further back. A rough start to the morning for Wessel. He's now back in eighth. Harry Volsmere sits in fourth at the moment, but Adam Barker right on the bumper. Andrew Lau now in third has lost a lot of ground. The top two have a 2.5 second gap on third place at the moment. However, Andrew Lau, Harry Volsmere, and Adam Barker all just over a second apart. Wessel Stevens has fought his way back to 7th place. Will he be able to advance any further? He's 5.5 seconds back from 6th place, Robert Joe, but he might choose to just hold that car in 7th and start race 2 from the pole. Avery and Yope has just driven away from the rest of the field. That gap back to third continues to grow. Andrew Lau, Harry Volsmere, and Adam Barker all right there together. One mistake could have a huge impact on the top three. Also worth noting, Avery Walker out front at the moment, ahead of points leader Adam Barker. Last week, Avery made up quite a bit of ground on Barker. Can he do the same again here today? Yope tried to make a move. Yope has started hunting for a place to make his move to the lead. They still have a 2.9 second gap on the rest of the field as they kick a little dust up. But if they start battling, Andrew Lau, Harry Volsmere, and Adam Barker could reel them in fairly quickly. Yope definitely starting to look for an opportunity. Andrew Lau still holding on to third, but Harry is right there. Adam Barker back in fifth is starting to lose ground on Lau and Harry. Robert Joe back in sixth is actually closing in on Barker. He is less than 4 seconds behind at the moment, and he is moving forward. Wessel Stevens back in 7th, still 4.9 seconds back as the leader has had a problem. Avery Walker had been out front. And Yope just barely taps him. Looked like Yope was trying to set up for the pass. May have gotten a better run into the turn. Gets a better run out of the previous turn. Just gets into Avery's bumper. Sends him around. And Mike Marshall has had a problem. Mike had been gaining some ground on the cars ahead. Just goes a wee bit wide into the dirt. Yope now has the lead and has a decent lead, 1.1 seconds over Andrew Lau, but Lau is closing quickly. Harry Volsmere now up into 3rd, Barker into 4th. Robert Joe up in 5th, continues to close in on the cars ahead. Avery now into 6th, but back doing battle with Wessel. Definitely seems like leading here today, and Avery Walker is coming in. Looks like he does have some damage to the car, coming in for a quick fix. Gets in, gets it fixed, gets back on track. Meanwhile, Yope has found his rhythm up in the clean air, has opened the gap to 1.5 seconds over Andrew Lau. Harry Volsmere in 3rd, Adam Barker in 4th. The top 4 all less than 3 seconds apart. All still within striking distance. Yope's lead starting to grow though, now 1.6 and getting bigger. Hey, good morning, Mike Cypher. A bit of a check up there between Lau and Harry. No problem, buddy. How are you doing this morning? Three and a half minutes left to go in race 1. Yope has continued to extend his lead, now 2.2 seconds over Lau and Harry. Hey, Zach, how you doing, buddy? Robert Joe was gaining on that lead group, but that gap is stabilized at about 5.25 seconds. Wessel Stevens is closing in 6th. Cyper NSS is the league name, and it actually stands for Not So Serious. Oh, we've got a problem. Harry Volsmere and Andrew Lau both around. Adam gets by. And the top three has been shaken up again. Being at the front here today has not been a good thing. See if we can see what happened. Harry right behind Lau. Oh, Harry gets a big run into the first turn. They connect and go around. Adam manages to slip by in another close call, but Harry gets rolling first. What a turn of events here this morning. Hey, Zach, thank you for the stars, buddy. Hope to see you back on track here soon, my friend. Yoke's lead now 5.4 seconds over Adam Barker. And we were talking about that battle between Barker and Avery in the points. That has just had a dramatic change again. Robert Joe, one of the newcomers to the league, now up to third. Can he hold Wessel off for another lap? David Garman did get back out on track, currently runs in 10th, Mike Marshall in 9th, Avery all the way back into 8th. Well, looking forward to it, Zach. Hopefully you'll get back to some GT3 racing too. Garmy has gone back to pit road. As Yope heads into the final couple of turns, he started in third, avoided the chaos ahead, and out of the final turn, Yope will win race 1 at Zandvoort. Adam Barker is going to come home in second. Wessel Stevens manages to recover up to third. A great recovery for Wessel here this morning. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Wessel. Wessel, man, it seemed like being up front was terrible this morning, but you recovered quite well.
Yeah, it was a stupid mistake on my own side, unfortunately. I'm very glad with the recovery race I driven. So finally at P3 it's not that bad. So yeah, mixed feelings.
Well, I can understand that, but man, that was a great comeback to come home in the top three. Great job, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Adam Barker comes home in second. Adam, you come home on the podium in what turned out to be a very eventful race.
Yeah, crazy race. I think that might be the most undeserved podium I've ever got. Running around in sixth quite happily, and everyone around me is just crashing out, spinning, doing their own thing. So just keeping the car as clean as possible and trying to keep out of trouble was the only issue.
Yeah, it did seem, listening to you guys before the race, nobody's really favorite track, but the guys who minimized mistakes seem to be the ones coming home up front.
Exactly. So it was, it was a very odd race. There was quite a few races that were really close, and then I think people just put in a little bit too much pressure on either themselves or just pushing a little bit too hard, or letting the pressure get to them when there's a car behind them, just making those little mistakes.
Well, you managed to come home on the podium. A great race. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't complain. Hopefully we'll get there again, but it's going to be a hard one to do, especially with the way that the tires are wearing around here as well. They really start to give up after about 15 minutes. So 50 minutes is going to be an interesting one.
It definitely is. Well, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And finally, our winner, and we'll check with him. I do believe this is his first ever NSS victory. Yop, congratulations, and if I'm not mistaken, your first ever NSS win.
Yeah, thank you very much. Indeed, my very first win in the NSS.
It definitely was an awesome race, very eventful, but you managed to hold on and stay out of trouble for the most part.
Yeah, it feels like I got a bit lucky with Basil spinning out first, and some unfortunate contact between Avery and I. Feels like my fault, but yeah, in the end, I'll take the win.
Well, it was a well-earned win this morning, man. Congratulations. That was great.
Thanks, man.
Joop van Tilburg gets his first ever NSS win. Night Cyper, when it comes to league limitations, there's not any. It's just a matter of working your way up through the officials. But you can get into this league and many others without having ever run an official. The F1 cars, though, they do have more grip, and they are a smidge faster. Well, Zach, looking forward to seeing you back out on track, buddy. That's great news, and hopefully the break helped. Wessel had that amazing comeback in race 1. Can he do it again? With the top 7 invert, he'll drop back to about 5th place. But he came from further back after his spin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number 2. We'll see Roman Berg and Harry Volsmir on the front row. Andrew Lau and Robert Joe on the second row. Wessel Stevens, Adam Barker on the third row. Joop, after winning race 1, will start in 7th next to Avery Walker in 8th. Mike Marshall and David Gorman round out the field. So tire concerns, they also have to deal with the fuel window, so they will need a fuel stop. And after hearing Adam Barker discussing the tire situation, we're likely to see everybody take tires today. The pace car begins to roll. I have to say, Roman Berg's white Porsche up there, I love the Conliff Esports car also up there, but that white Porsche just looks great. Coming out of that high banked final turn. Pace car dives to pit road. They are stacked up, ready to go. Green flag is in the air, and man, they really stacked up. Wessel to the bottom. He goes 3 wide up to third. Harry takes that outside line through turn 1. And Harry Volsmere to the lead. Quite a few big moves early on, as Wessel Stevens has just claimed second. Wessel led the first half of the first race until he spun and lost ground. Looks like he is going for some vindication here. Roman Berg, Adam Barker, Mike Marshall have all had problems. We'll take a look here in a moment. Robert Joe has towed it to pit road. Definitely a wild start to the second race. Andrew Lau back in third, already losing ground to the top two. Harry and Wessel are checking out. And down the front straightaway, Harry will lead lap 1. Let's take a look at a few of these incidents back behind. There's Adam Barker, one of the drivers who had an issue. Oh, the checkup up ahead. What happened to Roman Berg here? He just snaps loose coming through the turn, gets a couple of minor love taps. Everybody has to avoid him. Definitely a bumpy start for Roman. Harry Volsmere and Wessel Stevens have checked out, but that is about to change. Andrew Lau and Avery Walker are on the march, closing that gap back down. Roman Berg, Robert Joe, both on their way off pit road after that early incident. Worth noting, Yope just set the fastest lap of the morning. after winning race 1, his first ever win in NSS competition. Can he charge back to the front and pull off the sweep this morning? Andrew Lau and Avery Walker still about 2 seconds back. They lost a little bit of ground on that last lap, and it has allowed Yoke to get even closer, as Gourmets has had a problem back behind. There's Gorman in the Mustang, and we've talked about it since this car came out, just no rear grip. Mustang doing Mustang things once again. Oh! Wessel Stevens and Andrew Lau have a problem. Yoke gets by and moves to third. Let's see what the heck just happened. Wessel shoots to the inside on Harry. Gets right to his bumper, has to tap the brakes. Manages to avoid all contact. What a close call for Wessel. He is back in the fight. Meanwhile, Harry Volsmir all alone at the front. Avery Walker now up to second, Yoke up to third. Wessel Stevens trying to fight back toward the front, currently in fourth. Adam Barker in fifth. Andrew Lau back in sixth. Mike Marshall having another good morning, currently runs in seventh. Garmin in eighth. Robert Joe in ninth, and Roman Berg in 10th. Worth noting that Mike Marshall comes into today leading the amateur division in points and is currently sitting fourth in points overall, not far behind Nick Sorensen. But with Sorensen not here today, Mike Marshall may move up. Speaking of moving up, Harry's lead 2.5 seconds. But Avery Walker has started chipping away at it, and he brings Yoke with him. Wessel Stevens in fourth is running him back down. Adam Barker currently in fifth, and you heard him in that first race. He had pretty much settled into a rhythm. Knew he did not have the fastest car. Got very lucky in that first race, made up a lot of ground. But right now, he is back in fifth. And he has Andrew Lau right on the bumper. Harry's lead continuing to shrink. Avery just under 2 seconds behind the gaining. Wessel Stevens lost a little bit of ground, has slipped about 1.5 seconds behind Yope. Adam Barker for the moment still holding Andrew Lau off, but it has been obvious all morning the Porsches are the fastest car on track. Can Adam hold him off for another 40 minutes? Last time by, Aries' lead dramatically shrunk. Avery less than a second behind. You can definitely see a dramatic difference in the lines these cars are running. The Porsches this morning have definitely been running wider on a lot of corner entry, trying to late apex a lot of the turns. And Harry's lead is gone. Avery Walker and Joop van Tilburg right on his bumper. Wessel Stevens just over a second behind. Adam Barker and Andrew Lau about 3.25 seconds back from that lead group. But if a battle starts at the front, we could see the top 6 all reunited. I remember the drivers did say after about 15 minutes the tires really start going away on these cars. Likely to see things get a little bit spicier. And we did see a lot of guys losing grip in the final few minutes of race 1. How big of an impact will it have here in race 2? And another big impact coming. Roman Berg in 10th is just ahead of Harry Volsmeer in the lead. Lap traffic as the top 3 start battling is going to become a factor. Wessel Stevens is closing a gap on the top 3. Top 4 currently all Porsche. We saw, and there you see that late turn by Wessel. We have seen a lot of the Porsches make that turn today. A very similar story to race 1. The Porsches all at the front. Adam Barker still holding off the Porsche of Andrew Lau. Could see some of these drivers try some different pit strategies, undercutting the rest of the field to get to pit road and get to those fresh tires faster. Next time by, the entire field should be within their fuel window to make it to the end. Then it just becomes a matter of who goes to pit road when. Wessel Stevens has closed back up on the top three. They are all within about a second at the moment. Adam Barker, Andrew Lau, 5th and 6th, about 5 seconds back. But as this top four stays in line or starts battling, any way you look at it, Adam Barker now has an opportunity to close back up. Mike Marshall still holding on to 7th. Garmin currently runs in 8th. Robert Joe back in 9th. Roman Berg in 10th after the early incidents. And let's take a ride around this track, riding along with Wessel Stevens off into turn 1. There you see the debris being kicked up. That's reducing grip through these turns. Drivers have to be extra careful now. Back on the power, and as we talked about earlier, a lot of elevation changes here. Back to the top, downhill, into the right-hander. Wessel backing off just a little bit. He's still within range to strike, but gave himself a little bit of a safe buffer here. And despite 3 Porsches ahead of him, 3 different lines through that series of turns. Down through the chicane. Back on the power as they head toward the final 2 turns. Yoke made a little bit of a peak there as they go into the final high-banked right-hander on the power and full send out of the final turn. Wessel did that lap in a 1:34.08. Lap time's definitely starting to slow just a bit due to tire wear. And good morning, Mark Dantuma. Cheering on Garmy here this morning. Garmy did have problems early on because Ford does Ford things. Yope is, man, he is trying to hold on to 3rd, but Wessel all over and keeps peaking. Wessel back and forth still as Yope starts closing back in on the top two. They're not letting him get very far ahead. Before Wessel attacked, we saw Yope peeking, trying to make a move on Avery. And here we go, pit stops. Wessel is the first in. Everybody, as we mentioned, has been within the fuel window for about a lap or two. Wessel already back off pit road and rolling. He's currently in 6th. Will the undercut pit strategy pay off here? And good morning to the beautiful unicorn. Yope has pulled back up on Avery and Harry. Andrew Lau had made it to 4th and has now opened a gap on 5th place Adam Barker as Yope is in. Now we heard all the drivers talking about the tire wear here this morning. This track just eating tires alive. But it does not appear Yope is getting a tire change. Yope is on his way back out. We'll keep an eye on the rest of the field as they come to pit road, but it did not appear, as we mentioned, Yope got tires. Harry starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Avery. Now 9/10 of a second. Andrew Lau has moved up into 3rd. Barker in 4th. Tilburg in 5th. And Wessel Stevens in 6th, just over a second behind Yope. Worth mentioning, these two drivers, this is their home track. Adam Barker has moved up to 4th. Remember, after that first race, he said he did not have the speed he needed this morning. Hoping to luck into another podium finish here. Avery has started pulling a little bit closer to Harry. Less than a second back at the moment. Be interesting to see what the rest of the field does as far as pit strategy. Andrew Lau currently in 3rd, about 7.5 seconds back. He is not gaining any ground at the moment. Adam Barker in fourth, but Yope and Wessel are both closing back up on Barker. And Barker is in. Will he be taking tires here this morning? Remember, he said that the tire wear after 15 minutes made it tricky. He is up for tires. Harry and Avery may be back in lap traffic. Robert Joe not far ahead. Wessel has had a problem. There's Wessel trying to close in through that first turn, and just loses the back end. We have seen that a number of times this morning. And it appears he's had another problem just a second ago. And again, just no rear grip. The back end stepping out. Roman Berg and David Gorman have headed to pit road. Looks like Gorman does have some damage. Roman already on his way back out. Does look like Gorman is taking tires. And we are, if you haven't noticed, a few Porsches shy this morning, as none of Team Gunther is here. It's really weird not to see a Gunther out on track. Top three continue to move forward. Top two still battling. Andrew Lau in third is over 7 seconds back. The last time by, he was faster than both of the top two. Harry started the race in second, but immediately took the lead and has led the entire race so far. Roman Berg has had a problem back behind. Roman coming down the front straightaway into the first turn. Betting the back end steps out. It does. He does get the car corrected and going again, but a big setback for Roman. Harry and Avery out front continue to hold a 7.5 second lead. Andrew in third, Yoke now in fourth. Last time by, Yoke was the fastest car on track. Wessel Stevens was right on Yoke's back bumper until a few moments ago when he lost the back end. He is now right at 12 seconds back in fifth. Adam Barker currently rolling in sixth. Mike Marshall in seventh is closing in on Barker. David Garman holds on to eighth. Robert Joe in ninth. And Roman Berg in 10th. The top three have not been to pit road, nor has Mike Marshall. Robert Joe went to pit road on lap 1. After that early incident, he will still need to come in as well. Oh, was that a mistake by Harry? It has given Avery an opportunity. Looked like Harry went through those corners a little too hard, got on the rumble strip, clipped a turtle, but he keeps his foot down and keeps it going. Avery tried to attack a couple of different times, just couldn't get there. Andrew Lau in third, now 5.5 seconds back. Lau is gaining on the top two. At minimum, the top three will have to get fuel to make it to the end. Be interesting to see how this pit strategy plays out. Also, with Andrew Lau back in third, gaining a lot of ground, a quick pit stop for him could put him back into the battle for the win. Yoke back and forth, still closing in on the top three. Wessel has started gaining ground on Yoke, but he is still 12 seconds back. The leader's coming into some lap traffic. And the leaders both come to pit road. Andrew Lau also coming in. Avery Walker is up for tires. Harry is up for tires. Lau is up as well. As Yope comes down the front straightaway, he may take the lead. Yope heads off into turn 1 and reclaims the lead here at Zandvoort. Avery Walker comes out in second, but it appears Harry Volsmere may have had a problem on pit road. It appeared that Harry, by accident, told his team to put wet tires on. He briefly had wet tires on the car. Yope out front by 2.7 seconds over Avery Walker with 15 minutes to go. Yope got his first ever NSS win this morning. Can he keep up the pace and pull off the sweep? Yope pulling off the sweep at his home track would certainly be an event they'll celebrate. Avery Walker, though, lurking 2.5 seconds back in second. Andrew Lau in third. Wessel Stevens in fourth. Barker in fifth as Mike Marshall has finally come in for his stop. And it does look like Avery has cranked it up just a hair. He is closing in on the leader. Does appear Harry Volsmere has retired from the race. After one heck of a good run going on here, one mistake on pit road cost him everything. He'll likely be firing his team. Robert Joe just completing his stop on the way back out. Yope still out front. Avery chipping away little by little. He's now about 2.2 seconds back and closing. Andrew Lau in third, now 5 seconds back. Wessel Stevens fourth, and Adam Barker holding on for a top 5. Mike Marshall currently runs in 6th. Garmin, despite early issues, has moved up into 7th. Robert Joe currently in 8th, Roman Berg in 9th. As we mentioned, Harry Volsmere retired after this. His team made a huge mistake on pit road. Avery is getting closer and closer. Now 1.9 seconds back. He's got plenty of time to make up the gap. But catching Joop is one thing. Getting past him may be a whole nother issue. Andrew Lau in third is losing ground on the top two. Wessel Stevens in fourth is closing back up on him. Adam Barker, as we heard after race one, content to ride with a top five. But as we saw in race one, anything can happen in the final 10 minutes. Avery continuing to chip away. The gap now 1.6 seconds behind Joop. He is closing. Andrew Lau still in third. Wessel still gaining in fourth. And Barker in fifth. And another great run here this morning by Mike Marshall. Currently runs in sixth, but Gourmets is closing in. We have seen that Mustang have problems. The big lack of rear grip as he closes in on Marshall, that could be a problem when they get side by side. Joop still in the lead, but Avery is inching closer. Avery appears to have lost a lot of ground. Let's see what happened a moment ago. Avery off into turn one. And overshoots on exit. Looks like he had a little bit of a slowdown. He lost some ground, now has to fight back. Joop back to a 2.5 second lead at the moment. Wessel Stevens back in fourth. He was gaining ground on Andrew, but it looks like he settled in with a gap of about 6.3 seconds. Avery Walker still holds on to second, but now Joop van Tilburg's lead once again 2.5 seconds with just over 6 minutes to go. And Wessel Stevens has had a problem. Wessel headed off into turn 1, and the back end steps out yet again. A heartbreak for one of the fastest guys on track today. Yope's lead holding at 2.5 seconds over Avery. Andrew Lau in third, 6.3 seconds back. Wessel Stevens lost even more ground in fourth, 12.6 seconds back. Adam Barker just 3.7 behind Wessel in fifth. He is gaining ground. Garmin has gotten by Mike Marshall to take 6th. Mike holds on to 7th. Robert Joe back in 8th. Roman Berg in 9th. And unfortunately, Harry Volsmere out early. Looks like Robert Joe may have had a problem a moment ago. Let's see what happened. Robert coming down through the turn, off into the grass. Gets to that inside fence. Robert has had problems in race 2 since the drop of the green, but he has stayed in the fight. Don't forget to come back tonight, 7:30 Eastern. The BRR Cup Series is back, followed immediately by the SMRX Series. Tomorrow night, Jones BS Racing is back. A big week of racing ahead. Wessel has had another problem. Headed toward turn 1. Likely lost the back end yet again. He did. Back end just steps out. Once again, he gets the car recovered quickly, but he has slipped back to 5th place. Adam Barker has now moved up into 4th after slipping by Wessel. Wessel about 8.3 seconds back at the moment. Barker has said he does not have the fastest car this morning, but in race 1 he made up a lot of ground due to several mistakes by other drivers. Adam now up into 4th and hoping he can make up a little more ground. Yope's lead still holding right around 2.7 seconds behind Avery. Lau still 8 seconds back in third, Barker in fourth. Wessel is on pit road as Yope takes the white flag one more time around. See what happened to Wessel. He ended up towing the pit road a little too much of the rumble strip and the turtle. And he goes around. Yope got his first ever NSS win in race 1, and I do believe this will be the first time we have ever seen a rookie sweep. Yope heads into the final 2 turns, a 2.5 second lead over Avery Walker. And out of the final turn, Yope will get it done and pull off the rookie sweep at Zandvoort. Before we talk to the top 3, there were 2 late incidents. There's David Gorman, Mike Marshall right behind. And again, back in, stepping out. And then Mike Marshall, as he hits into turn 1 for the last time. Oh, okay. Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Andrew Lau. Andrew back on the podium and a great battle to get there.
Actually felt kind of lonely out there, but
well, there was a point where you got a little lonely, but
yeah, we had a good battle with Adam. We were pretty even on pace, just in different parts of the track. My apologies for turning him around, but he deserved it probably somehow.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, yeah, just had to avoid a couple big lap 1 incidents and then just keep it safe.
Well, it definitely paid off. The wreck avoidance wins. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Andrew Lau comes home in third. Avery Walker in second. Avery, there was a point I thought you had it in the bag.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Yope for a while. I knew that he was trying to do the undercut, but I was so focused on Harry, I was like just hoping for the best that I would come out ahead. But he had an awesome strategy, did it all perfectly, and there was no way I was catching him at the end.
Still a great podium finish here this morning, and you guys had some great battles up there at the front, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun and a lot better than the first race.
Definitely. And finally, our winner. Yope, congratulations. Not only do you win, but I believe this is the first time we have ever seen a rookie pull off the sweep.
Yeah, thank you. This was a really nice race. Yeah, the car felt really quick, and yeah, got the win.
It definitely looked like your pit strategy really paid off, and man, every time somebody started getting close, you just had enough speed to pull back away.
Yeah, the pit strategy really helped. Avery and Harry were fighting in front of me. I had to make a decision, and I decided to empty the undercut. When I noticed they went into the pits, I was really happy to find out that I exited. I was ahead of them when they went out, and yeah, I could just keep it there until the end.
Well, it was a great job. The first time a rookie has swept here in NSS. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, making history today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget tonight, 7:30 Eastern, BRR Cup Series, followed by the SMR X Series. A great, great night of racing ahead. Hope everybody had as much fun as we did. We'll see you tonight. Have a great day.